I'm Dr. Matt Sheehan from Medford Family Chiropractic Center in Medford, Oregon. I'm here today with my friend Julie, and we are going over 3 plank exercises. A lot of people are familiar with planks, but for those of you who are not, I'm going over these largely for my patients who have pulled these up on my website because I probably showed them how to do them recently and they still have some questions. So if that's you, that's what this is primarily for. So we're going to be going over these 3 handouts. If you're a patient of mine and you're wondering how to do the regular face down plank or the side plank or the reverse plank. And so all 3 of these are core stability exercises that help us to control and strengthen the muscles of the abdominals, the obliques, the back muscles, the pelvic or buttock muscles, the hamstrings, quadriceps, all of which stabilize us when we're doing our activities of daily living. So the first one we're going to go over is the prone plank, or just the regular plank that most of us are familiar with. And so I'm going to have Julie go over it for us and get in a position, and we'll just talk through it a little bit. So Julie's coming down onto her forearms and just relaxing on the table for now. And the first thing you want to do is just try and make sure that your positioning is good here in terms of your elbows being more or less under your shoulders. If you can, your arms can be about shoulder width apart. That's great. She's a little limited by the headpiece on the table, but more or less lined up pretty well there. How's that feel?
Feels good.
Good. Okay. So next thing you want to do is you want to come up on your toes like this. And, if you need to wear shoes, that's great. So you're coming up like that, and you want your feet about hip width apart as well. And next, you're gonna clench your buttock muscles, engage those a little bit. Now engage your abdominal wall muscles. Then what you want to do, you're going to keep your neck in line with the rest of your spine, and then you're gonna raise your pelvis to bring you up into a straight line, thus the name plank, like you're a plank or a board, and you're straight, and you're going to hold that position, and see, this is good. Okay, go back down. So this is a tough exercise for a lot of us. The main thing, it's engaging the front muscles, so primarily the rectus abdominis, the abdominal muscles, the chest muscles, some of the shoulder muscles to stabilize. So wherever you might have a weak link is gonna show up as being shaky or give you problems first, making you quit first. All right, that'll get tired first. And so as Julie was doing that, you can see some shaking, which is exactly what we all do when we start doing this. And that's a great indicator that we need this particular exercise. We need these muscles to be more toned in order to stabilize us when we're leading our activities of daily living and lifting in awkward positions and things like that. So Julie demonstrated coming up to a perfect position there, and you basically just want to hold that position until you start to feel some significant fatigue, and then you slowly come back down. You can rest for 30 seconds and then come up and do one more repetition. And the ideal way to do this, at least in my practice, arguably the best way to do it is to do 2 sets or 2 repetitions, shall we say, in the morning, and then 2 in the evening. Not every day, but every other day. So with strength exercises, once again, as I've said before, you don't want to do them every day. You want to do them every other day to give your body a chance to rest, because that on the rest day is actually when you build strength, not on the day when you're doing the exercise. Now we're going to jump to the second plank exercise, the reverse plank. And the reverse plank exercise is really helpful for strengthening the back core muscles. It's very intense on the muscles between the shoulder blades, which stabilize the shoulder blades themselves. As we increase the tone, it will help to pull them back and keep our shoulders in more of a neutral position, because many of us especially people who either work with their arms out in front of them, doing physical manual labor, tend to get strong chest muscles and their arms tend to roll forward, and it creates upper back and neck problems. Also, people who sit at desks all day, and if they're sitting in positions where their ergonomics or their alignment biomechanically is not ideal, they'll tend to have the keyboard too far forward, the mouse too far forward, and their arms are too far forward, and it rounds the shoulders forward. And then they slouch and they end up sitting like this, and creates a lot of work for us manual medicine practitioners. So the part of this reverse plank that helps with that is that you're pulling as you do it, you'll see in a sec, you pull the shoulders back and you hold it there, and it will quickly tone those muscles up. And it's also wonderful for strengthening, since we're in a plank position, meaning totally straight. It's intensely working all the back muscles from between the blades to the low back, the buttock or pelvic muscles, as well as the hamstrings. They're all very much engaged. And we're going to, as we saw with the first one, we're going to hold it until we feel some significant fatigue, quit, and then rest 30 seconds, and then do another one. Do 2 of those in the morning, 2 of them at night, every other day. Okay, so now we're going to have Julie get into the position, and we're going to show you several options for positions for how to do this. A slightly easier way, good way to start, is to do it on a diagonal. It'll be a little less of a strain on your body to try it this way. So you can either do this exercise on your forearms, or you can do it on your hands. So if you have carpal tunnel or wrist problems, you may want to try it on your forearm. But either way, it's highly effective. Now we're going to have Julie demonstrate how to do the reverse plank. And so we're going to, at home, you can, if you have a surface, couches are a little iffy because they're often kind of soft, but you can try this on the edge of a couch. And if your bed is low enough, you can try it on the edge of the bed, or you can just do it horizontally on the floor, which we'll also demonstrate. Julie's going to demonstrate how to do this on the edge of the adjusting table here. And so I'm going to have Julie just go ahead and get in the position right on the edge there. And notice she's got her forearms and her elbows close to the edge right there, and she's just relaxing here, but she's going to have her feet, let's have your feet a little further apart, so about hip width apart, and she's looking straight ahead. So now what she's going to do is she's going to pinch your glutes together slightly, engage your abdominal wall, and now what I'm going to have her do is lift up so she's in a line, and the only points of contact are her elbow and forearm and her heels. So now she's going to hold it there for about an hour. Let's just watch how long she lasts. Just kidding. So you're going to hold it, and now I see her shoulders are rounding forward a little, so what I'm going to have her do is engage her shoulder blades. So she's pulling her shoulder blades, pinching the blades together. So it's very intense, and you can see some shaking, because this is a very difficult exercise at first. But you quickly get strong. So she's going to hold it there for as long as she can until she feels some significant fatigue, and then she's going to quit. So you can go ahead and relax there, Julie. So that's how you're going to do that one. And again, you'll hold until you feel some fatigue. Rest 30 seconds. Do a second one. In an ideal world, you're doing 2 sets in the morning, 2 sets in the evening, every other day. All right, that's one way to do it. Another way to do it, you can come up on your arms and do it. Do you want to try that, or do you want me to do it on the wrists?
You can show me.
Okay, so you can do the same thing. So you're just going to go down there and then assume the same position. There you go. And Julie hasn't tried these yet, so you get to see how where some of the difficult spots are. Okay, so you can see if you have issues with your wrists, this is not going to be one you're going to want to do. But go ahead and see if you can come out into a straight plank. And if it's too hard on your wrists, I'll give it a try. So you can start there, and there. See, you can see it's a little more difficult for some people. And then squeeze the blades. Good. So she's got good strength going on between the blades, and she's really engaging her abdominals to stabilize her, but all her back muscles, her gluteal muscles, her hamstrings are all getting a really good workout, all stabilizing. Again, you hold it till you feel some fatigue, and then you quit. Great. You can do both of those, the exact same positions, only on the floor. And it just gets that's a little more difficult. And the same rules apply in terms of how long to hold it, and how often to do it, and when to do it. Okay, now we're going to go over the third plank, the side plank. And this is the handout we're going to be referencing for those of you who are patients of mine. And the benefit of the side plank is it really helps to tone up and stabilize the oblique muscles, which are very, very important to stabilizing especially the low back and the pelvis and the spine. So there's two levels to this, as there are with a bunch of other exercises. And Julie here is going to demonstrate both of those for us. And the first one, we're going to have Julie lying on her side with her legs bent. And so how I want you to do this at home is, as much as possible, have your whole torso and your thighs in a straight line. So you can see there's a little bit of bend here. So if you're at home, you don't want your knees, you don't want your hips bent like this. You want your thighs, as much as you can, in a straight line like this. All right? And then at the knees, you're going to bend it to 90 degrees for stability. And so other things to line up, once again, like the other planks, we have Julie's elbow relatively straight under her shoulder. All right? She's going to be on her forearm. And so her torso is pretty straight. And you're going to bring that back a little bit. Make sure she doesn't cheat. There we go. Good. And so, again, as we did with the other ones, we're going to have her engage her gluteal muscles, her buttocks muscles, and then engage her abdominal wall. And then we're going to have her lift up her whole torso. So now the only points of contact are her knee, from the knee down to her ankle, and then her forearm. So it's if you have any shoulder issues, this is often going to be your limiting factor, will be your shoulder. So if you have rotator cuff issues or things like that, you want to consult me or whoever you're working with to make sure this is a safe exercise before you jump in, because it can be very intense on that downside shoulder. And so the main exercise, in addition to the shoulder, is the downside oblique muscles, because these are having to work like heck to keep your whole torso in a line off the table, working against gravity. And so ways that we cheat, we'll find ourselves rotating. We'll kind of be wobbly this way or that way, or we'll start to sag. And go ahead and drop down, Julie. So you can see from a little bit of shaking, as we all do when we first start out with this is a very intense exercise. And as I said, for many of us, the shoulder will make us quit before the obliques will. And so it's also a good way to really isometrically strengthen a couple of the shoulder muscles at the same time. So again, she's exercising that downside couple of obliques. And then the obliques, in case you wonder what the heck they do, they do several things. They, as far as their main purpose is, they'll side bend us and they'll rotate us in both directions. So when those are toned on both sides, where it adds a lot of stability to the low back and the pelvis, and it will enable us to do certain things in awkward positions sometimes when we really need to. And it's for good power and control of the torso. So that's level one. And now when you can hold that position for 30 seconds or longer, then you're ready to start expanding it to level two. So what we're going to do is we're just going to lengthen the legs here. We're going to straighten them out, and so now the points of contact are going to be again the forearm, and now it's going to be the downside ankle. Okay, so you can have the ankles. You can do it two ways. You can have the ankles stacked one on top of each other, or you can have one in front and one behind. Either way, it'll work fine. It just makes it twice as difficult to lift the torso when you're this long. So Julie's going to give it a try, and if this works for you to do this, great. If not, I can demonstrate this one too. So just give it a shot. And again, you want to always remember the basics, the ABCs, to set yourself up right before you engage in the exercise. So again, Julie's lining herself up as best she can on this table. If that doesn't work, we can do it on the floor.
Let's see. Okay.
Good? Okay, so she's all lined up well. So again, she's going to engage her abdominal wall. Her elbow is right under her shoulder, engage the gluteal muscles, and now she's going to see how it is to raise her torso up. There you go. So that's that position. You can see it's a little wobbly on the elbow because she doesn't have as much stability there. There you go. And you can see how this is more difficult to stabilize. It's a lot less secure, and there was some rolling, little chatter, mostly from the shoulder, and then a little bit of rolling. So this is a perfect exercise for really engaging the brain with the muscle and getting that connection more. It'll go from maybe the equivalent of a hiking trail to a 6-lane highway, so to speak, in terms of the amount of connection between the muscle and the brain, and for the coordination's sake of the whole core. So as she gets stronger there, it'll be less wobbly, it'll be rock solid, and you want to be able to hold that for 30 seconds on each side. That's the goal. Thanks.